Instant Replay, 2739 Chestnut in Quincy.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Muddy. I'm Ashley Conrad. Joining me again today, and it's been a while, my friend Jen Wiemel. How are you?
Awesome. Thank you for having us back on.
Of course.
We're pretty excited to share some of our updates about what's been going on the last year for us.
Yes. And before we roll into that, so Jen, you're with Ole Miss Academy. You're a founder, right?
I am. I'm the founder and director of Ole Miss Academy. It's a brand new classical school. We opened in 2022. And just a little brief background on who we are as a classical academy. So classical education is very language centered. It has a history spine that we base all of the rest of our curriculum off of. So whatever we're learning in history, we reinforce with the rest of the subjects. And so it's a very immersive experience for our students. It presents, the story of history as a story, which is super easy for our brains to take in and remember. And it's just awesome for our students.
Yeah. And I've visited your location, which is, of course, on Jefferson, right?
Mm-hmm.
On the 20th?
20th and Jefferson.
Yeah. It's a great location. You guys have done great things with it. And just entering into those, the learning, just entering into the learning environment itself is something completely different. Very, very interesting, very, very cool. I love the entire philosophy of it. I love how you connect everything. And it seems like all of your educators and students alike are always so excited when I see them, whether it's on social media, whether I'm talking to someone, in real life. It's just really, it's obvious that you guys are doing something different, right? And it's very, very cool. And your enrollment speaks to that.
Yes. So we started the school year off in 2022 with 22 students. We ended the year last spring with 44. We started the year this year with 72, and we have 76 right now. So yeah, it's just, and I have 42 students on our wait list for the fall school year. So we're super excited about the growth and, the family environment that's created. And, one of the greatest compliments we just continuously get from our students is that it's peaceful there. Yeah. It's peaceful. And they have a lot of fun because it's that learning environment that's safe and happy and healthy, and they love it. So
right, which is awesome. But I think that, so we were talking before, of course you attribute, the increase in enrollment because you are actually fundamentally different, and people are learning that, right? Mm-hmm. But why do you think, and I don't want to call it abandoning, traditional schooling and curriculum, but why do you think it is more attractive to look at a school like Ole Miss?
Well, I think one of the things that makes us so incredibly different, first of all, my staff is amazing, and they are creating curriculum that's original to Ole Miss. And so in traditional classical schools, it's very Western-centric, and so we are more of a hybrid than that. So we're taking Western philosophies and Western civilization, and of course that's what a lot of our timeline is based on. But we're also taking what we've learned across the 7 continents over the last 170 years and weaving that into our timeline. And so, it just appeals to a lot of different people and religions and nationalities because we're covering everything and we're giving everybody a seat at the table. And so, and we're religiously neutral. And so we're not focusing on a doctrine. It doesn't mean we shy away from the talk of religion. We certainly do talk about it when it's relevant to what, is happening in our timeline. But it's very interesting and it's very immersive. And it, like I said, it presents the story of mankind as a story, which is so much easier for us to digest. And, instead of just having a block to learn history or a block to learn language arts or a block to learn science, we're just taking those pieces, we're lesson planning together, and it's just it's that continuity from kindergarten all the way to high school. And so it's really good for our families. Yeah. When they're sitting around the dinner table, their second grader can talk about the same things their freshmen are talking about. It's just at different depths. Right. And it just makes for a great family environment, a great environment at the school, so much easier for them to learn. It's not just memorizing dates or memorizing data for a test. It is the story of man.
Yeah, you're actually living it rather than trying to memorize and then regurgitate it on a piece of paper, which is really, really cool. So congratulations on your growth. But that, of course, you're always doing something different. You do, that is kind of, the fundamental of Ole Miss. You are just different, and it's great. But you also bring other opportunities and different learning experiences in, especially like throughout the summer, right? Mm-hmm. So you have programs and events coming up, right?
Yeah, we do. Okay, so April, we're launching our Inventors Fair. So we're taking the top 50 inventors, American inventors, and the kids will immerse themselves in the experience of these inventors. So they'll do some sort of written project, oral project. They can do a slideshow. They can remake the invention, but for 3 weeks, that's all we're going to be really working on and letting them really immerse in that. And so another event that we do in the winter is our Christmas Around the World event. And it's kind of the same way. Kind of the same way. It's just they get to really dive in, and I'm telling you, what they learn during that experience, they never forget.
Right.
It's just they're so excited about it. So that's what we're going to do, and then we'll have an open house for the public so that the students have a chance to put on display.
Show it off.
Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Do those presentations and get them comfortable speaking in public and, being excited about what they learned and teaching someone else. I mean, that's the final step of learning anyway, right?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
And then speaking of teaching someone else, you also offer tutoring throughout the summer. Is that right?
We do. So our summer program, we're launching from June 10th to August 9th. So it's pretty much the majority of the summer. We did have the summer program last year, but we did kind of reinvent that a little bit this year. We had a lot of feedback from the public, which we listened to. So this year we're doing 3 different sessions for the summer program. So the first session's June 10th through June 28th. Second session's July 1st through July 19th. Third session is July 22nd through August 9th.
Okay.
And so parents can choose which session they want to participate in, and then there's full day and half day options. So, if you needed daycare for your child, you could choose all 3 sessions, full day, that's your daycare for the summer. If you're a family that has a lot more flexibility with your schedule, you just want to keep them a little immersed in some learning opportunities, you could choose half day for 1 session. But what it covers in the morning, we take the top 40 pegs from our history timeline that we do throughout the school year. So we do 3 different tours. This year's tour is North American, U.S., and Adams County history.
Cool.
So we'll take the top 40 pegs from our history timeline this year, and we'll feature them. So each one is on a card. We'll show the kids the card. We'll teach them the sign language to represent the card. We'll do some sort of interactive read aloud with them. And then some sort of craft project or hands-on building project, something that just immerses them into whatever we're learning about in history. So that's our morning program, so that's 8 to 11. Then we have an hour for lunch, 11 to 12. And so the full-day students in the afternoon, then they'll be set up for centers. So we'll do science projects, we'll do math games, we'll do more reading and library and just puzzles. There's going to be some free play. We see a lot of really good data about them being able to choose kind of what they want to do. But it's a fun way for them to learn without even realizing how much they're learning. And of course we know there's a lot of information that children lose over the summer. This is a way to keep them engaged, keep them going throughout the summer, so they're not losing. They're not starting off the school year behind. Yeah. And then in the afternoons, so the first session, the June 10th through June 28th, we are going to do language arts tutoring in the afternoon, which my staff will be doing. So that'll be from kindergarten through seniors in high school. It's an hour twice a week for 3 weeks, just to kind of keep them engaged and get them that one-on-one if they need it. We do see a lot of students that are behind in language arts and math, so that's why we wanted to have that be our focus, of course. And then the July 1st through July 19th, it will be a math-centered, focused tutoring.
Gotcha.
So same thing, 2 hours a week, an hour twice a week for 3 weeks. And I think it'll keep them engaged, get them some, help if they need it. For the children that are already there, the students that are already there full-time, just walk down the hall.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah.
It sounds like there's something for everyone, which is really, really cool. And this is open to, your summer program is not limited to Ole Miss students who are enrolled.
No, absolutely not. It's open to the public. In fact, we've had a lot in the public reach out to us and say, hey, our child was recommended to have tutoring, but there's not options available to him. And so, absolutely, it's open to the public. Even if the students end up going back to the schools they're currently enrolled in, it doesn't matter. This is a way to keep them engaged, give them a leg up, and help them get ahead, stay ahead, or stay on
and experience the difference, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is you are keeping them busy, keeping them immersed, keeping keeping their brains alive, we'll say, but you're also showing them this is how we do things a little differently. And for the parents, I think it's also a really good opportunity to see the difference in the children, right?
Yeah.
From traditional classrooms and what they're enrolled in now to Ole Miss. I think it's just a really good opportunity. I love the fact that you guys are doing different sessions.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool, because I think, a lot of parents like me who work from home, and I want my kids to be able to go and do stuff occasionally, but they're so busy. Summers are always so packed that I'm like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to enroll them for the whole summer. So I love the program idea, and I love the morning and afternoon and the full day. I think that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and that was a lot of the feedback that we got from the public, like, we'd love to experience this, but maybe in smaller bites. And so,
yeah.
I mean, that's the freedom that we have, being as independent as we are,
Yeah.
is that, we can think outside the box and collectively make decisions, amongst our committees and teams and,
getting the parents involved.
Yep.
And I think that is something that, more and more parents are looking for, which probably, hasn't hurt your enrollment, right? It's probably actually been a leading factor when parents are looking at Ole Miss is, I want to be heard. I want to have a say in what my kids are learning and what the structure looks like, what the curriculum is. And I know you guys are always constantly working on new curriculum, which you'll have to come back and talk a little bit more about that. But I'm always amazed at everything that you're doing and how well you're doing it. And I love that the enrollment is growing. I love that you are continuing to follow what you originally started off with, right? And it's just very cool to see this growing for you. Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about Ole Miss or, the fundamentals or how you do things or what's different about you, where would they go?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, olmissacademy.com. We have a pretty active Facebook page as well, Ole Miss Academy on Facebook. We post a lot of what we're doing. One of the unique things that we do is called Friday Fun Days, where we do like an immersive experience with the kids.
Yeah.
It's actually really, really funny because some of our students have only come to Ole Miss, some of our younger ones. And so they don't understand that in other schools, they don't get every Friday afternoon off.
Yeah, this doesn't happen.
To go do something immersive.
Yeah.
So right before we went on spring break, we ended up going over to Springfield and doing the Lincoln sites over there. And it's just so cool. We do try to schedule those Friday Fun Days in alignment with what we're learning in our timelines so that we can really bring that to life for them. And it is such a cool experience. So that's
lucky kids.
They are
yes,
lucky. Yeah.
Yes.
But that's one thing that we definitely feature on our Facebook page, is you can kind of follow that journey. We also hit on the pegs of classical education, the academic virtues we're featuring for our students that week, and try to pull the public into what it is that we do and what makes it different.
Sure.
And it's an excellent explanation on there. So, and of course, anybody's welcome to call the school. We do tours for interested families for the fall. We'll have open houses for our summer program. Actually, coming up this Saturday is an open house for our summer program. So
Cool.
they can kind of see what that program looks like. 9:30 to 11, and once again, we're at 2001 Jefferson. You'll want to come in on the 20th Street side, but the signage can kind of lead you in from there. But
Sure.
It's a great opportunity for the public to just come in and,
Check it out.
and ask questions.
Yeah.
The staff is there, so, they can ask questions about what it is, and, it is amazing.
It is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you, and always love talking to you. You guys always are doing amazing things over there. So don't be a stranger. We'll have to talk about some more, the changes in your curriculum, which you're always, you always seem to be improving and growing. So keep it up. Always great talking to you.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. All right. And open house, if they want more information, hit Facebook or call the school, and you'll get them some more
Absolutely.
information. Excellent. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Jen. Always a pleasure. Coming up, I sit down with Randy Wolfmeyer to talk about the eclipse. Stay tuned.
The Liquor Booth is your home for a huge selection of beer, wine, and spirits. The Liquor Booth has 2 locations in Quincy, 3520 Broadway and 1500 North 12th Street. The Liquor Booth, where it's always happy hour.
Welcome to the Abbey, a Quincy tradition. With 6 big screens, a new larger kitchen, and now more seating capacity, the Abbey is the place to be before, during, and after the big game. Come enjoy fan favorite appetizers, steaks, burgers, and a variety of daily food and drink specials. Can't join us? Carryout is available too. Now with a convenient drive-up window to better serve you. 1736 Spring in Quincy. Opens at 3 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday. Come join all your friends at the Abbey, a Quincy tradition.
Kelly's has been a fun place to eat and drink in Quincy since 1982. A fun and friendly atmosphere, food with flavor, homemade cinnamon rolls, and famous cheese soup, the best menu in town. Kelly's, 2902 Broadway, Quincy.
Are you looking for the perfect venue for your next special event? Check out Utopia Event Center. Utopia has a large banquet room and an awesome bar area, perfect for anything from birthday parties to formal corporate meetings. It also offers a photo booth, stage for a DJ or a live band, and a fully stocked bar, all for only $300. Check us out at utopiaeventcenter.com or call Barn at 217-430-6559 for more information. Utopia Event Center, 900 North 12th Street in Quincy.
The Tower, a great place to meet and eat. But did you know the Tower has one of the finest drink selections in our area? Along with its incredible Mexican menu, the Tower specializes in tequilas for every taste. Names like Patron, Cabo Wabo, and Hornitos. And don't forget the margaritas. On Mondays and Tuesdays, stop by and pick up a single topping pizza and get Tower margaritas to go. Enjoy the Tower at home or in our dining room, bar area, or the Tower's signature climate-controlled porch. The Tower Pizza and Mexican in Quincy.
And welcome back. Joining me now, Randy Wolfmeyer, professor at John Wood Community College. I'm going to let you say all of the courses that you teach because I know I forget one. So
I teach physics, engineering, and astronomy.
Okay. And today we're talking about, I don't know if it's all kind of interconnected. I'd like to think it is, but astronomy for sure, right? Mm-hmm. Because we're talking about the solar eclipse.
Right.
And that is happening April 8th.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So I love the idea of a solar eclipse, but it's been some years since we've had one.
Yes.
And okay, just for people who may not know, I'm not saying, people don't, but what is a solar eclipse?
So a solar eclipse is when the moon orbits around the Earth and the Earth orbits around the sun. And so as the moon basically passes between the Earth and the sun. Right, so we actually have two kinds of eclipses, lunar eclipses and solar eclipses. And so this is the one when the moon comes between the Earth and the sun, and then the moon casts a shadow on the Earth.
Gotcha.
And so where we will see the eclipse is if you're in the shadow of the moon as it's crossing over.
And there is basically a line of that, right, that crosses many states, but not all of them.
No, so that's what's called the path of totality. So it's for this one this year, it basically runs from the from Mexico, coming up through Mexico, then cutting across, then up through the northeast.
Gotcha. So, and there are of course different times because it's essentially kind of blocking the light of the sun, right? Mm-hmm. And there are different times that each, through the line of totality that you can expect to see darkness, right?
Exactly.
And it hits different spots. So I was looking, in Quincy, we're not going to have totality, right?
No.
Okay.
So in Quincy will experience what's called a partial solar eclipse. Mm-hmm. So due to the distance between the moon and the sun, so there's actually two parts of the shadow that the moon casts. It's called the umbra and the penumbra. So the umbra is the part where it will completely block out all the light from the sun. And so the moon actually it's kind of a weird thing that from the Earth's surface, the moon and sun are about the same size, not physically the same size, but apparent size.
Sure.
And so basically as the moon crosses over, it can completely block out the disk of the sun. So if you're in the totality path, you will see what we call a total eclipse. And so you'll get the complete darkness. But if you're in the region around that, you get what's called a partial eclipse, where basically the moon will cover up a portion of the sun. And so some of the light from the sun is still passing through, so you won't get the complete darkness, but there'll be an effect, but just not the same effect.
Yeah, you can still experience it.
Mm-hmm.
So total eclipse, it took all I had not to sing total eclipse of the heart. Okay, just so you know, I just wanted to get that out there, get it out of my system.
Is actually the radio version of the song is about the same length as the total eclipse is.
Really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. See, I'm glad I brought it up. So The closest place to Quincy, I mean, if you're I think it's like Carbondale for
Yes,
totality. Is
so-
that right?
Right. So actually, so Cape Girardeau and Carbondale, that whole like kind of stretch along there is the closest points, and so about 4 hours away is about so
Yeah.
and that puts you right in the middle of the path of totality.
Yeah. So if you were going to travel to Cape Girardeau, Carbondale, that area, what time would you have to be there for this? Do you know?
So yes, I do have that.
Good.
Let's see. Let me make sure I've got the right times there. Okay. So actually, luckily, due to the angles and everything, actually the times are about the same as they are here in Quincy.
Okay.
So the eclipse begins about 12:43 p.m.
And that's here? Or here and the- okay,
And there. So
okay.
basically, that's when from our point of view, so that's basically as the first edge of the shadow is starting to cross over. So if you're in Cape Girardeau or Carbondale, that's where you'll start with the partial eclipse.
Gotcha.
So basically it'll start lighting up, and so the moon will start covering up the sun. And so that will continue until about 2. Actually, if you're in Carbondale or Cape Girardeau, it will basically, the totality starts at about 1:59, 1:58, depending on which location you're at.
Gotcha.
And then the totality will last about 4 minutes.
I was gonna ask
and
that,
so
yeah.
then the maximum happens almost exactly like 2 o'clock. And then, so the maximum is basically like the right in the middle. So in Quincy, actually it turns out to be basically the exact same time.
Gotcha.
2 p.m. will be the maximum extent, but here in Quincy, it will cover 93% of the sun,
That's still, I mean,
which sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
But the totality is a completely different experience.
I bet.
There'll be, because even like 7% of the sun surface showing is enough to, it's still going to be bright.
Daylight,
And you
yeah.
still can't look at it safely.
so that brings me to the
Mm-hmm.
next question. These glasses that everybody are selling, are they the real deal or is that just kind of a hoax?
So that's the other one I've got.
Good.
here.
I love that you have notes, 'cause I'm like, I have
There's
questions.
some particular numbers I did
Yes.
not want to forget here.
Yes.
So the American Astronomical Society says that you need to have safety glasses, or the safety standard for the eclipse glasses is ISO 12312-2.
Okay.
So that is basically that is the requirement to have adequate protection while you're viewing the eclipse. Just sunglasses don't work because they do like block some of the sunlight, but they're not sufficient to just sit and look at the sun for a
Right.
while. Because that's actually, there's nothing particularly dangerous about there's nothing about that's going on during the eclipse that makes the sun more dangerous to look at. It's just that normally people know to not look at the sun.
Yeah, it's easier to look at it because
Right.
it's not quite as bright. So you kind of
Well,
forget.
And usually there's not something interesting going on.
Right. You're
over
not
the
just
sun.
looking up at it,
Right.
yeah.
So during the eclipse, there's going to be a tendency, because people will notice that it's starting to get darker. And it is a very weird effect because the sun will be, where it is usually in the sky at 2 o'clock, so like middle of the day, but it's going to start getting darker and darker and darker, right?
Yeah.
And so people know something's going on, and then everybody tries to look to see what's going on. And so you have people looking frequently at the sun, and that's where people can damage their eyes.
Yeah.
And so we want people to make sure that they're using, taking safe, precautions. This getting this close to the eclipse too, there's a lot of people selling bad eclipse glass. So
Yeah.
that's why having that safety standard to check against to make sure, like, okay,
Sure.
are these legit? Should we be using these? Also, the AAS, so American Astronomical Society, they have a website, eclipse.aas.org, where you can go to that and actually list manufacturers of glasses that they've
Oh, cool.
approved.
Yeah.
So if you want to check to see are yours good or not, you can go to that website, and they have a list of, like, there might be others that are approved, but they have a list that they've checked out and know that these are good.
Sure. So I brought up the glasses because I think, and I don't know if this is a lunar or solar, but there was an eclipse when my daughter was kindergarten, first, second grade, something in there. So it would have been, I don't know.
7 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say 7 or 8 years ago.
Yep.
And they gave us all these glasses, and I was like, they just look like 3D glasses. I don't know how safe these are,
Yeah.
but I was like, I'll take the school's word for it, right?
Yeah,
So everybody was out there just kind of looking up. It was really
yeah,
cool.
and I think for the most part, again, you probably just want to check it before
Yeah.
you're doing that. Which actually, the fact that 7 years ago, 2017, we had another eclipse that passed through the same area. So this is actually Carbondale is in the unique position of actually being in the path of both of those.
Oh, really?
And so, which was really cool for them. It's like they kind of won the lottery there.
Yeah,
Being like,
right?
So they were in the path of the 2017 and the 2024. Also, just even being in this area, we're lucky to have, because usually it's kind of random, like where the eclipse is.
Yeah, I was going to ask. Is it normal to 7 years? It's not every 7 years.
No,
okay.
No, it is not a regular pattern.
Okay.
It's there's a lot of variables. It's exactly like where the moon is, at that point in time, and just where its shadow is going to land. And so we just got lucky because that one went from the northwest down to the southeast, so it was crossing the other way.
Interesting.
And so it really just comes down to where exactly the moon and sun, that exact arrangement. And there's a couple of cool websites that you can go to. There's one, actually it's on the NASA website. So if you go to science.nasa.gov/eclipse, or you use what's called NASA Eyes, it has this really cool simulator that shows like a to scale model of the sun, moon, and earth, and you can actually kind of watch it project the shadow across the earth, which actually like makes sense out of like why are only certain people in line
Right,
with it
right.
and everything.
Kinda explains it a little
because you
bit
can
more.
actually see that shadow as it like is coming across the earth, and you can see like as it goes across the earth, the shadow kind of changes shape and everything.
Yeah.
And so you realize like how complicated it is actually to figure out even like when it's going to land.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's pretty.
So
cool.
I shouldn't even try to make sense of when or where.
Well, I would
in
go
the
to
next
that
one.
because it makes it very visual. It
Yes.
makes it a lot easier
There we
to
go.
see that and
Okay.
actually like see the how the shadow moves and everything.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, do you plan on going to Carbondale or? I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
so our plans right now, my family, we're going down to southern Missouri. So we're going south of St. Louis to spend the night down there. For this one, we have not picked an exact spot yet. We're going to kind of keep it flexible as the day is going on just because of weather and everything. 2017, we got lucky because we had a friend who had a farm that was right in the path of totality. So we
Cool.
were able to all just like gather there and go see it. And we got lucky, the weather worked out. Just even today, I'm like already just
Yeah.
going like,
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We
So-
have clear skies so that we can actually experience this.
and so it is definitely like if you're able to go to get into the path of totality, it really is worth it because while 93% here in Quincy it'll be noticeable and neat. There's just something about being in the path itself because that moment when it goes completely dark, just like at the middle of the day. Also, that is the one time you can take the glasses off. You can actually view it
when it's
with-
totally dark. Okay.
So if you're in the totality, and once the moon has completely covered the sun, that's when it's safe. Because what's dangerous about the eclipse is just the sun still emits ultraviolet light and all of that stuff, and you're still like staring. Even 7% of the sun's surface is a dangerous thing to be looking at.
Right.
So
Interesting. Well, hey, it was so cool talking to you about this stuff. I love learning, new things, which is what I say I love most about this job. I get to meet cool people and learn new things. And the solar eclipse is something that I think, like you said, some people kind of take it for granted, whether it's, staring at the sun, whether it's even being in the path at all. But yeah, experiencing totality, I think it's just wild to be like, oh, it's dark now for the next 4 minutes. So very cool. Randy Wolfmeyer, it was a pleasure talking to you, and I hope you get to experience it in its full beauty, we'll say. Clear skies and totality, right? All right, so the solar eclipse, April 8th, here locally between like 12:48 and 2.
well, actually, it'll go until like 3.
3, okay. So, just be outside, kind of let the kids experience it. Make sure you have the appropriate eyewear, but it's something that I think we're lucky to experience, whether it's the totality or not. So, yeah, cool. Very nice talking to you. It was very nice meeting you. All right, I think that does it for today's Daily Muddy. We'll catch you back here tomorrow for more.